The holidays can bring on a lot of emotions. If you're listening to this on or around Christmas Eve, or honestly anytime during the holidays, I just want to start by saying you don't need to be in any particular mood right now. You don't need to be excited, grateful, festive, or social. You don't need to have plans. You don't even need to love this time of the year. The holidays can bring a lot to surface: family dynamics, expectations, old patterns, grief, exhaustions, and sometimes all at once. I wanted today's episode to feel like a pause. So today, I'm doing this in a very cozy setting. If you are watching this with a video, I'm putting on a face mask. I have one of my favorite drinks. We are relaxing. This is not a pep talk. This is not a checklist. It's just a reminder that it's okay to protect your energy and take care of yourself during a season that asks a lot of us. So wherever you are, in your car, in your bed, hiding in the bathroom, out for a walk, or maybe just taking a minute, I'm really glad you're here. Let's take a deep breath together and talk about boundaries, rest, and filling your own cup during the holidays. Welcome to episode 23 of She's Probably Talking to Other Guys, Getting Through the Holidays, Boundaries, Rest, and Filling Your Own Cup. Just a friendly reminder, I'm not a therapist, psychologist, or expert in human behavior. This is a judgment-free assumption checking zone. Take what resonates and leave the rest. If you're watching this with a video, yes, I have put on a cryo face mask for the first time. It's supposed to stay on for 30 to 40 minutes, so let's see if it actually stays on my face while I'm talking the entire time. We shall see. Our first topic we're going to be talking about is holiday boundaries without guilt. One of the hardest parts of the holidays, I think, is just the expectations that come along with it. Sometimes the expectations are a bit quieter. Sometimes the expectations are very loud. And there's some expectations to show up at holiday gatherings, to stay long, to be happy, to participate. Sometimes explain yourself when people start asking a lot of questions. And a lot of times we end up just pushing ourselves through it. When this year, especially on social media too, I noticed a lot of people are really encouraging that you do your own thing. And again, you need to make your own decisions for what's going to work best for you. But we're going to go through some thoughts on boundaries, some different assumptions that the internet has about the holiday season. So let's start with some assumptions. Assumption one is family means I have to tolerate everything. And I do feel that this assumption is quite true because I think a lot of times when it comes to boundaries, some people feel a bit easier setting them up with not necessarily strangers, but people who are not related to them. I think that a lot of times, if it's people that we know that we're not necessarily going to see often, it's a bit easier to set up a boundary. I think that just in general, when it comes to family, certain people have just a harder time setting up boundaries because they're family. When it comes to what you tolerate, that's completely up to you. That's individually your choice for what you're going to tolerate. And I mean, at the end of the day, I do believe sometimes in the phrase of being the bigger person, depending on the situation. So sometimes I just let things slide under the rug only because I think of the phrase in my head: if it's not going to matter in 5 years, let's not spend more than 5 minutes stressing out about it or overthinking it, or whichever phrase tends to fit your lifestyle or your mindset a bit better. I have said no to certain gatherings this year because I was just too busy. Like, I don't have anyone working for me. I do all of my work on my own. And yes, it's a lot. And in the past, I would push it aside and be like, okay, I need to go do this because this is my family. They want me to go. But this year, I actually said no to a lot just throughout the year because I just had too much to do and I didn't want to be stressing myself out just because somebody else wanted me to show up for something. And again, this is completely up to you and you making your own decisions for what you're going to be able to live with in a sense. So if you're going to make a decision and that decision is going to cause you a lot of stress, again, this episode is about putting yourself first. So put yourself first when you're making these decisions. So for that assumption of family means I have to tolerate everything, I think that that is still a mindset that a lot of people are in, and not that they're wrong. This is not a conversation of being right or wrong. It's just about making decisions that are going to benefit you the best. Next assumption, self-care has to be productive or aesthetic. Absolutely not. I am literally filming this right now with a face mask on for the first time, and it's sliding down my face. I have to admit, I like how cool it is. I'm going to save my review for a second video though, because I know some of you can't see this. But anyway, it does not have to be aesthetic. I sometimes will post videos where, yeah, I know that my lighting is terrible. And I don't really care sometimes, to be quite honest, because in a previous episode, I had mentioned to you that I truly believe, at least in my case, that my social media is real. It's just not the whole picture, because I cannot possibly film everything. I barely have any storage on my phone at any given time anyway. So I just think that there should not be an expectation to share everything. There should not be an expectation that everything has to look picture perfect. I mentioned in a previous episode, if a brand reaches out to me and they just want to send me a gifted product, but they have all of these ideas in their head about what my video needs to look like or what my aesthetic needs to look like, that's not generally a brand that I want to work with, because the whole point of working with me is that you like my aesthetic, which, to be quite honest, it's very real. For me, your self-care does not have to be productive. It doesn't have to be aesthetic. It literally doesn't even need to be shown to anyone. I mean, some people keep their self-care routines for themselves, and that is totally okay. Trust me, if you're watching this video, this is not really aesthetic at all, but I'm doing it because, again, I just want you to know that if you're trying to have a relaxing time where you can be happy, you can try something, you can do things that you like, just do it. It doesn't have to always look good. I disagree with that assumption. I don't think that your self-care has to be productive or aesthetic. If I take care of myself, I'm neglecting others. I think that sometimes I can definitely relate to this assumption, where if I feel like I've said no to something because for my own sanity or whatever the reason is, I feel like if I take the time for myself, that other people are disappointed in me. And in the past, that really was an issue, not necessarily with my family or my best friends. It became an issue with people in a past work environment. So if I said no to something because of my sanity, all of a sudden I got all of this blowback, and I literally just couldn't understand why. This goes along with, I've said in other episodes about how I am a recovering people pleaser. Like, I stopped saying yes to people, and then all of a sudden I just started getting all of this ish back at me, and I had to stand by my decision so people couldn't take advantage of me anymore. So for this assumption, I definitely get it, because it can feel like guilt sometimes to make a decision that benefits you but doesn't benefit others. And at the end of the day, you need to do what's going to be the best solution for you or the best result for you. I also think, from another perspective, if you're having a hard time making a decision about something that worked for me was, I would think to myself, okay, is this person going to do the same for me ever? Like, would this person ever adjust their schedule? Would this person ever make decisions or say yes to something that I was asking them to do? And if the answer is no, then again, for me, that's what made me start saying no more often was because I started realizing and coming to the hard truth that a lot of these people would not do the same for me. They would say that they would, but at the end of the day, their actions had shown me, and things that they said to me had completely shown me that they don't have my back. They're not going to do the same for me. And then why am I going to do something that's going to stress me out for your benefit, but you're never going to do anything in return that's going to help me? And it's not because, let me be clear, it's not because I do nice things to expect something in return. I think that when it's a working relationship or a working associate, something along those lines, my expectation is that if I'm going to do this and make a professional decision that's going to benefit you but stress me out, yeah, I do expect you to be there for me when I need help from you. Because again, to me, that's more of a professional relationship. If it was family, or it was my friends and people like I truly know have my back, I will never expect anything in return. Absolutely not. I will go out of my way. I will do things for people in my life because I love them and I care about them, but they're not people where I would expect something in return. Next up, if I don't show up, I'm being rude. I think that this is something that is so common, especially during the holidays. I'm going to talk from my personal experience. So for some people, when they don't show up, they are just being rude, like 100%. There's really no reason as to why these people aren't showing up. There's some people who have just told me that they're not coming because they don't feel like it, and that there's no real reason as to why, because I know that these people would tell me. So again, sometimes this is accurate where people aren't showing up because they are just being rude or they're just trying to prove a point and petty little nonsense like that. Anyway, there is also just, again, that guilt where if we don't show up to something, we feel like we're going to upset people, or, oh, it's the holidays, like I need to show up. And I mean, right now, I'm thinking in my head about how much like I really don't want to go to something. So if you're stuck making a decision right now, I am too. And I just think that I'm probably going to sound like a broken record in this episode about making the decision that's going to be the best for you. Yes, you want to be there for people who are always there for you. Yes, you want to show them the same respect that they give to you and all of that. I think just depending on the situation, you need to decide if showing up to something is maybe different than what your mindset thinks it's going to be. I know that there's a lot of times where I make plans and then it shows up and I'm like, oh my goodness, I need to go to this, da da da, like what's going to happen, who's going to be there. But then I get there and everything's okay and it's a good time. So sometimes it's just my brain making these false narratives or these assumptions about how the event's going to be. I think that when you make the decision to go or you make the decision not to go, one, you need to be happy with your decision. Two, if you're going to go, maybe you can kind of just pick up on the vibes when you're there. And then if it's not your vibe you're going for, then you can leave early. What do they call it? An Irish exit. I think that, again, this all comes down to what you're going to be comfortable with. And if there's going to be any, I'm going to use the word backlash, like not in a bad way, I would imagine, but I'm just going to use that word because my brain can't think of anything else right now. You're just going to need to be able to handle whatever comes with your decision afterwards and just stand by whatever decision you made. Those assumptions are more so focused on feeling guilty for making decisions that benefit you, or feeling guilty for situations that maybe you've gotten into and you're not quite sure how to get out without hurting someone's feelings, something along those lines. I'm going to leave you with this thought for this section. Some of this for you in the holidays might look like saying no to plans you don't actually want to attend. It might look like leaving early without a big explanation, maybe stepping outside, taking a breather, not engaging in conversations that are maybe going to go nowhere or result in frustration. You don't need a perfect reason. It doesn't need to be worded perfectly. You don't need permission from anyone. You just need to make the decision that you're going to be able to stick with, that's going to leave you a bit happier during this time of the year that's, again, an assumption supposed to be happy. But whatever happiness looks like for you, that's what you need to aim for. Let's discuss our next topic, and that is choosing rest in a season that is all about doing more and more and more and more. The holidays come with this hustle and bustle. There's more traffic on the roads. The stores are packed. There's just a lot going on. For me, it's a lot of noise. It's a lot of busyness, a lot of busy work too, because I feel like sometimes people are just buying gifts to buy gifts. I actually love when my best friends come to me and they shop my store because they know that everything is going to be quick, it's going to be easy. They love the products that I have, and I actually did that for one of my friends the other day. He was so last minute and he was like, I'm gonna shop your site, like, let's do this. For me, it was about helping him. I know that he didn't want to go out and all of the craziness. He didn't really have all this extra time to be going out and spending it getting stuck in traffic and this and that. So again, for that was like choosing rest in a way where he made the decision, all right, not only am I going to go support one of my friends, I'm going to make a decision for myself because I know that I don't want to sit in traffic. I don't want to stand in line. I don't want to be involved in any of this. And for me personally, I admit I online shop. Unless there's a reason I cannot get something and I have to physically step foot into a store, I will literally do online shopping. And this isn't just the holidays, this is all the time. I prefer so much to do online shopping and online orders. One, I'm a logical person, so the first thing I think of is, okay, is this going to save me time? Yes, so I'm going to do it online because that's going to stop me from having to go somewhere and spend all this time. So again, circling back to a season that just wants you to do more and more and more, holiday shopping is exhausting. I am not going to tell you exactly who, but there is a person in my life where everything needs to be perfect. And I see how stressed she gets making sure that everything is perfect. And sometimes I don't know what I want to do. I don't know if I want to give her like a gentle little like tap on the face. I don't know what I want to do. I feel like she needs a hug probably, but she wants everything to be perfect and she just cares so much that everybody loves their gifts and feels so special from everything that she gives them. And I see how exhausted she gets. I want her to prioritize herself. She needs to choose rest because she does more and more and more. And I'm just like, girl, you need to chill in the best way possible. Some assumptions about resting versus productivity. Rest means I'm being lazy. As someone who's very much a go-getter and goal achiever and is always on to the next task or the next level of whatever I'm working on, I admit that I fall into this assumption sometimes. I do feel that if I stop, that I'm being lazy. I'm someone where I like to constantly be working on something, and a lot of times I need to remind myself that I need to work on myself. So whether that's laying in my sauna blanket because I know that I always feel so much better when I do that, or maybe it's going and just spending an extra 15 minutes working out, whether it's throwing in a random Pilates session, whatever it is. Sometimes I find that for me, resting doesn't have to mean, sometimes it means I need to lay there and binge watch something. I am currently binging something during certain hours. I give myself some time to just go be mindless and binge some TV so that way I can just tune out all of my thoughts. But sometimes my rest, I feel, ends up being productive in a sense that it keeps my mind busy in a different way. It takes me out of my working mindset for a moment to do a 10-minute Pilates session. So yes, I'm technically being productive, but it's in the sense that I'm working on myself. Resting can be laying on the couch. Resting can be going to grab a coffee. Resting can be whatever gives you that sense of relief, of re-energizing yourself, maybe putting you in a different mindset. Sometimes rest can be calling a friend who you know always makes you feel better. I think that the word rest needs to be defined by you. Whatever makes you feel better. that's your definition of rest. If you're like me, where you feel like you constantly need to be reaching something, it's not being lazy to take care of yourself. I think we need to find a new word. Rest means you're charging your battery. Rest means you're re-energizing yourself. Maybe rest means you're getting excited about something again. If it wasn't feeling exciting to you, maybe it is more now that you've kind of taken a little step away, whatever it might be. I should be more productive because I have time off. I see a lot of memes on social media about people's plans when they have time off versus what they end up actually doing, which the plans that they end up doing are usually just like chilling and binge watching or relaxing or drinking coffee instead of getting work done. And again, to each their own. I think that when you have time off, you need to do what's gonna make you happy, right? Maybe that is coming home and cleaning your entire house. And maybe it is just laying down and watching TV. Whatever that looks like for you, you don't need to feel that productivity and getting stuff done and the more you get done is better for you. Again, whatever makes you happy is what you need to go with. If you're tired, it doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong. You are human. Humans get tired. You need to choose the type of rest that's going to be respectful to yourself, the type of rest that you deserve, because especially in the holiday season, it is exhausting. And especially just that thought that we're approaching 2026. I know that that's a thought in a lot of people's heads right now. Next week, I have a very exciting episode, details to be announced. I'm collabing with one of my favorite girlies, and we're going to do something really fun. So stay tuned for the announcement on that. It's going to be a little interactive. So you're going to want to follow SPTTOG podcast on Instagram so you don't miss the announcement. Keep in mind too, rest doesn't always mean that you're sleeping. Sometimes it's canceling plans, sometimes turning your phone off, sometimes sitting in silence, and sometimes for rest for other people, it is checking off their to-do list and things like that. Things that are going to give them more peace of mind. During the holidays, remember you're allowed to opt out of chaos. For me, my opting out of chaos was not stepping foot near a retail store other than Starbucks, but I still went to the drive-thru, so I technically didn't go inside. You can choose a quiet holiday. You can let the season feel a bit softer. You don't have to tune into the hustle and bustle if you don't want to. Our next topic is redefining what celebrating means. And I think that there's so many ways that you can quote unquote celebrate something. So there's this idea that the holidays have to be done right. I mean, there was just that new movie that I was watching on Netflix. I literally can't even think of the name right now. There's this idea that it has to look a certain way, maybe big gatherings, you need to continue traditions, matching pajamas, your schedules are full and booked, but it doesn't have to be. And you also don't have to share it on socials. I mean, for me, I know that you'll see a little bit of my holidays, but I don't generally share too much of that on social just because it's not something that I usually share. There's no rhyme or reason to it. It's just I mentioned in a previous post about when you live your life on social media, there's this pressure to show everything. And for me to be able to, I don't want to say deal with or handle, because I know that I've made my social media world or my social media circle a place that is where I know that while I'm scrolling, I'm not going to see things that are going to be disturbing to me or bother me in any way. So when I say that in order for me to be able to keep showing up on social media and sharing more and more, there are topics that I'm not going to share. So my holiday is not very social in the sense of me taking pictures and posting all of it. You're just not going to see that from me. All right, I'm taking this mask off now. It is literally falling. Ooh, okay. I'm loving the results. So if you're watching this when I take this off, my rubber mask is now off and my skin is so soft. Okay, continuing on, let's go into some assumptions about celebrating. If I'm not celebrating, something's wrong with me. Nothing's wrong with you. You need to choose the best way that you want to celebrate, or maybe you don't at all, and that is okay too. I think that there's so much pressure to participate. You don't have to. So if you don't want to celebrate, don't celebrate. You do you, whatever you want to do. Nothing's wrong with you. If you want it to be maybe different than it has been before, that's up to you as well. Another assumption, the holidays should be the happiest time of the year. I mean, I think the thought is that they should be, but there's a lot of stress and a lot of drama that come with it, and I opt out 100% of the drama. I avoid it. If something gets dramatic, I tend to keep my mouth shut and just walk away. There is just no reason for it. I don't believe in drama when it comes to like, gift giving. I don't believe in any of that. So a lot of times I just stay silent and walk away, because voicing my opinion, especially, I think the fellow Sagittarius will get it, or people who are just blunt. We don't mean to come across in negative tone. We don't mean to come across in a negative way. It's just a lot of times we just say it how it is. I love just saying it how it is because it literally doesn't leave room for question marks. So for me, I've mentioned this in previous episodes, whether it's dating or friendships or whatever it is, like if you want to ask me something, just ask me. I can't stand when people beat around the bush. I can't stand when someone's trying to say something, but they word it in a different way because they're not sure how to word what they want to say. I can't take it. And that honestly irritates me more than a question that's maybe borderline offensive. I just like when people are real with me and just say it how it is. So that's kind of how I am. So if people start causing drama, if they want my opinion on it, I'll give it. But again, if it's somebody who isn't going to handle my blunt personality, it's better to just stay silent and walk away. Celebrating has to look a certain way. This is the one that I feel like I'm leaning into more and more as the years go on. It's not that I don't want to continue traditions, it's just I don't like the stress of traditions. When we're working on setting up things that are holiday traditions, when it starts to get stressful or people start to get irritated or there starts to be all this drama coming from other people, again, I'm just not interested, and it makes me not want to do it because I can't stand it. The holidays are supposed to be exciting. We're supposed to be showing love to each other. I mean, I feel like in my mind right now, the Grinch is literally popping in my head, and I relate to the Grinch literally more and more every year as time goes on. As I get older, I totally get it. I mean, I'm somewhere between Buddy the Elf and the Grinch when it comes to the holidays. There's really, I mean, there maybe is a little bit in between. I don't know a character who would describe my in between, but very excited, very passionate, very bubbly like Buddy, or just the Grinch is like, this shouldn't be dramatic. This is the holidays. We're supposed to be celebrating each other. Why is this dramatic right now? So if there's drama, I'm not showing up. If you're going to force me to celebrate in a certain way and I really just don't want to, I'm going to start to adjust how I celebrate and where I spend my time. Because again, I want to feel like I can fill my cup. I can do things that I like that bring me happiness. But at the same time, I don't want to offend others. I just want them to understand that you're doing this because you love to do it. I'm choosing this because I love to do that kind of situation. When you're celebrating, it might mean you're staying in. It might mean you're doing something just for you, or maybe for just a small tight-knit group. Maybe you're just letting the day pass, seeing how it goes, just going with the flow. Whatever you want to do, you don't owe anyone holiday cheer. You just owe yourself decisions that you're going to be happy with. I told you I was going to be a broken record. Next topic is filling your own cup without trying to quote unquote fix yourself. The time of the year kind of has this narrative that we should be reflecting, we should be healing, we should be becoming something or becoming someone, or we should be improving. And self-reflection, it's supposed to be a beautiful thing. And I just think that it's hard for some people, especially because we think of success from the entire 2025. And once 2025 is done, now we need to analyze this. And now we need to be critical and think of what we could have done better and this and that. And I don't really believe in that. I like to continue just flowing from one month to the next. Yes, I have goals that I want to reach. Yes, I'm going to go in and evaluate them. but I'm not going to do it on a criticizing basis. It needs to be constructive criticism, whatever it is, or it needs to be, okay, maybe this goal we didn't reach, so maybe we'll lower it a little bit next time. Maybe this one we completely surpassed, whatever it might be. Do it without giving yourself criticism. Give yourself constructive criticism, or give yourself pieces that you can learn from, or find someone who has done what you're trying to do and try to learn from them. Things like that. I think that when it comes to filling your own cup, you do need to give yourself a pat on the back because you tried and you went for it, and maybe it worked. Yay, maybe it didn't. You still need to pat yourself on the back for it because you still tried. One of my favorite, it's not necessarily 100% a quote, but if you're failing, it means that you're actually trying something. If something's not working, congratulations, because you're actually trying. There are people who get annoyed that something's not working, but they're not even trying, or they haven't even started yet, and they're already annoyed that it's not working. When it comes to especially this time of the season where it's the end of the year, don't start judging yourself harshly. It's not about fixing yourself. It's not about forcing positivity either. You want to notice what's working, what's not working, what's draining you, and what's giving you energy, what's making you sad, what's making you excited. Go through little pieces at a time, and don't necessarily judge yourself specifically for what's happening. Just see how something's flowing in your life, or maybe every time you try something, you just keep hitting a wall, or you just keep getting rejected. Whatever it might be, just keep redirecting your energy towards what you're drawn towards. You can start by asking simple questions. What felt heavy this year? What brought me comfort? What do I need more of right now? What needs to be done immediately? What can wait? Questions like that. Start to figure out what really brought you joy, what really made you happy, and go from there. Don't start with the, oh, I did this wrong, I did that wrong, like I failed at this, I messed up at this. Try your best not to get into that mindset, although it's easy to do so. When I feel like I'm starting to get into that mindset, I have certain people in my life that I reach out to, or I talk to, or I go visit, and it helps to just reframe my mindset and keep moving on. When it comes to filling your own cup, again, you need to decide what that looks like for you. Maybe it's literally filling your own cup with coffee that you absolutely love, right? Maybe it's taking some time for rest, re-energizing. Maybe it's setting boundaries with certain people. Filling your own cup can look so different for everyone. And the other thing you want to consider is it doesn't matter what it looks like to other people. It only matters what it looks like to you. So I'm going to say that one more time. It doesn't matter what your decisions look like from the perspective of other people. You need to be happy with the decisions that you make because it's your life. It's not theirs. And it can be hard. It can be a tricky situation to be in. I know because I've been in it. But at the end of the day, who cares if that one person doesn't like your video? It doesn't matter because so many other people love it, right? What these people have to think or have to say about you says more about them than it says about yourself, okay? So when it comes to filling your own cup, you need to do it in the way that's best for you. Our next subject is giving yourself permission to move through this season slowly. So if you're like me and you're avoiding the hustle and bustle of whether it's holiday shopping or just not wanting to go out there and participate in a lot of things that you just don't want to participate in, maybe it's you actually just want a quiet holiday because that's what you want. Whatever it might be, you don't have to join in with the noise. I don't even remember where I saw it. It was such a long time ago. It was something about like when you see one person running, people start to wonder if they're running from something. Then some people started joining in and started running as well, but they didn't even know why they were running. And it was just the whole point of you see one person do it and then a lot of other people start to follow, even though they don't know why. It's just that a lot of people are joining in. And my point with this is you don't have to join in just because it's what other people are doing. You can do things that make you happy, whether it's alone or with a group of other people, whatever it might be. You don't have to join into what everyone else is doing or whatever the majority is doing. There's a lot of pressure to wrap things up, no pun intended, neatly before the year ends. So we know that, okay, December 31st, we're done. We need to get all of this done in time. And yes, for certain things you do because there are real world deadlines. But again, it's more just reflect, give yourself a pat on the back, congratulate yourself for what you achieved, congratulate yourself for trying when you failed at something, or I don't really like that word, failed, or trying when you have really put your effort into it and tried something new. Maybe it was just you stepped out of your comfort zone and it was too scary, so you kind of brought yourself back in, or maybe you stepped out of your comfort zone for something and ended up being disappointed. It's okay because you tried. There's this Sabrina Carpenter song. It is literally on my playlist, not because I sit there and listen to the whole song. It's because it comes on and then it's just this reminder and it makes me smile every time it comes on. It's called You Can't Blame a Girl for Trying. I literally have that on there for the sole reason that it's a reminder that if something doesn't work out, you still tried. It might sound silly to some people. I don't care. I love putting it on my playlist. It makes me smile. It reminds me, okay, we're good. Let's move on. And I don't really sit there and listen to the whole song. It's more just that moment where it just gives me a little gentle reflection. Some other thoughts on moving slowly. You don't have to have an exact plan. You should know what direction you're headed in, but you don't necessarily need to know if you've dotted your I's, crossed your T's. You don't necessarily need to know everything in the moment. You just want to keep going and keep the ball rolling, if we use that little analogy there. You don't need to have clarity on situations right away. You can carry feelings from one year into the next. Again, it's just like how every month changes. You can still carry things with you just because we're going from 2025 to 2026. Your healing doesn't have a deadline. The ball's not going to drop at midnight and all of a sudden you're going to grow into a different person or you're not. I mean, there's literally no deadline for any of that. So don't let thoughts from other people, don't let things other people have to say necessarily make you feel bad about anything. You can keep moving from 2025 to 2026. It can flow. It doesn't have to be this massive change where all of a sudden it's 2026. We can't work on this anymore. Not accurate. If you choose to, you can totally reflect on this. Is trying to get through the holidays and just let yourself be. No expectations, no explanations, no pressure, just let it flow. And that's not necessarily always easy. I'm someone where I do like a lot of organization and I like everything to be very specific. I like to know what's going to happen. But at the same time, I also have this wild, spontaneous side where at any given point in time, I will try something new just because I felt like it. Or I will randomly change my plans in the middle of the day just because I felt like it. So whatever feels right to you is what I want you to be headed towards. Before you go, I just want to remind you, however you're moving through the holidays is up to you. It's your decision. It's your life. You can make your decisions that you're going to be able to be happy with. You don't need to over-explain anything. You don't necessarily need explanations for anything. It's just choose yourself. If you're setting boundaries that feel uncomfortable, you're not necessarily doing it wrong. Setting boundaries can be an uncomfortable thing. Once you've set a boundary, kind of that period right after you've set it can also be uncomfortable. If you're choosing to rest instead of tradition, you're still taking care of yourself. It's still a decision that you wanted. If you're keeping things simple or quiet, maybe you're feeling a little distant. If that's what you needed, make a decision. Again, that's for you. You don't have to have everything figured out. You don't have to make this season meaningful in some massive way. Sometimes just getting through it is more than enough. Thank you for spending a little time with me today. Take what resonates and leave the rest. A reminder that I will be sharing something in a few days to get ready for our New Year's Eve episode, because yes, there will be an episode with a very special guest. Thank you so much for tuning in to She's Probably Talking to Other Guys, and hopefully I will see you following the podcast on social media.